Welcome back to QuestifyX, where we uncover the stories that shape our world. In Part 1, we explored how Donald Trump rose from a businessman to a political phenomenon. Today, we're diving into his presidency, the policies, the controversies, and the global impact that defined his time in office. From America First to the Capitol riot, Trump's presidency was anything but ordinary, so grab a seat and let's dive into one of the most polarizing chapters in modern history. Don't forget to hit that subscribe button and ring the notification bell so you never miss an update. Let's get started. On January 20th, 2017, Donald Trump was sworn in as the 45th President of the United States. His campaign slogan, "Make America Great Again," wasn't just a catchy phrase, it was the foundation of his America First agenda. But what did America First really mean? At its core, it was a rejection of globalism. Trump believed the U.S. had been taken advantage of for decades by allies, trade partners, and international organizations. His first move? Withdrawing from the Trans-Pacific Partnership, a trade deal involving 12 Pacific Rim countries. Trump argued it would hurt American workers. Next, he pulled out of the Paris Climate Agreement, claiming it was unfair to the U.S. economy. But the most controversial decision came in 2018, when Trump imposed tariffs on Chinese goods, sparking a trade war that shook global markets. Supporters praised him for standing up to China, while critics warned it would hurt American consumers and farmers. Trump's economic policies also included the Tax Cuts and Jobs Act, which slashed corporate taxes and temporarily reduced individual rates. While it boosted the stock market, critics argued it disproportionately benefited the wealthy and increased the national debt. One of Trump's most divisive issues was immigration. During his campaign, he famously promised to build a wall along the US-Mexico border and make Mexico pay for it. Once in office, Trump made good on part of that promise. He declared a national emergency to fund the wall, bypassing Congress. But the wall became a symbol of something much bigger, a debate over America's identity. Trump's rhetoric was equally controversial. He called Mexican immigrants rapists and criminals, and implemented the zero-tolerance policy, which led to the separation of thousands of migrant families at the border. While his base cheered these actions, critics accused Trump of stoking fear and racism. The immigration debate became a defining feature of his presidency, and a rallying cry for his supporters. Trump's foreign policy was as unconventional as the man himself. He embraced a transactional approach, often putting U.S. interests above global alliances. One of his most notable achievements was brokering the Abraham Accords, normalizing relations between Israel and several Arab nations. Supporters hailed it as a historic peace deal, while critics argued it ignored the Palestinian issue. But Trump's relationship with traditional allies was rocky. He frequently criticized NATO, demanding member countries pay more for their defense. He also clashed with leaders like Germany's Angela Merkel and Canada's Justin Trudeau. Perhaps the most controversial moment came during his summit with North Korea's Kim Jong-un. Trump became the first sitting U.S. president to meet a North Korean leader, but the talks yielded little progress. Critics called it a publicity stunt, while supporters saw it as bold diplomacy. Domestically, Trump's presidency was marked by sweeping changes and constant controversy. One of his first acts was appointing Neil Gorsuch to the Supreme Court, solidifying a conservative majority. He also pushed for tax reform, signing the Tax Cuts and Jobs Act in 2017, which slashed corporate taxes and temporarily reduced individual rates. But Trump's presidency was also defined by scandals. The Mueller investigation into Russian interference in the 2016 election dominated headlines for years. While the report didn't establish a conspiracy, it left questions about obstruction of justice. Then came the impeachments. In 2019, Trump was impeached for pressuring Ukraine to investigate Joe Biden. In 2021, he was impeached again for inciting the Capitol riot. Though acquitted both times, these events deepened America's political divide. January 6, 2021, will forever be a dark day in American history. As Congress met to certify Joe Biden's election victory, a mob of Trump supporters stormed the U.S. Capitol. The riot was fueled by Trump's repeated claims of election fraud, which were widely debunked. 5 people died, and the images of chaos shocked the world. Trump's response was criticized as inadequate. While he eventually called for peace, many blamed his rhetoric for inciting the violence. The fallout was swift. Trump was banned from Twitter, and his approval ratings plummeted. But for his base, the Capitol riot was a symbol of their frustration. They saw it as a fight against a system they believed had failed them. Despite the controversies, Trump's influence never waned. In 2024, he announced his candidacy for president once again, promising to make America great again. His campaign tapped into the same anger and frustration that fueled his 2016 victory. And on January 20th, 2025, Trump returned to the White House. But what does his return mean for America and the world? That's what we'll explore in part 3. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe so you don't miss it. See you in the next part.